All right, welcome to everybody around the world. Welcome to all my subscribers. Now, I don't have a lot of time for this video, so what I want to do is highlight the most important parts of the evidence. So, there's a lot of stuff out there on YouTube right now, and every year there is, because every year Christians want the end days to come that year. They want the rapture to come that year. Ever since I was 18 years old, well over 20 years now, I've watched this. I've wanted the rapture to come each year, just like everybody else does. It's all fine to want it to come each year. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of people out there, tons of people out there, and there are every year, who so desperately want it to come that year that they make up reasons or desperately find vain reasons why they think it should occur that year. Okay, these things could be based on them counting feast days or eclipses or blood moons or noticing weather patterns or whatever it might be. People have every idea that they come up with. But at the end of the day, God gave us a Bible. God gave us the Word of God. And in that Bible, there are historical narratives, there are prophecies, there are psalms, there are proverbs. And in the prophecies, there's a fair number of prophecies in the Bible, but there aren't that many there aren't that many prophecies, that actually talk about the end days. Sorry, I'm doing this a lot. Okay. That's probably the way I'm sitting. Now I got both hands free. Okay, so there's not that many prophecies that talk about the end days in the Bible, but there are prophecies that talk about the end days. More importantly, most of the prophecies that talk about the end days actually give you a detail of when they will occur, okay, such as in the chapters of Daniel. What I'm getting to is that God gave us the Bible. It's the Word of God. It contains prophecies. It contains prophecies about the end days, and it contains prophecies that tell us when the end days will occur. That's a simple fact. Now, a lot of Christians today are caught up on the idea, based on two verses in the whole Bible, really, that say you won't know the day or the hour. Yeah, that's fine. Nobody will know the day or the hour, like it says. We also won't know the week or the month. Okay, all I'm trying to focus on here is the year or period of years. Okay, so what people need to do is put their bigotry aside, take a step back, take a deep breath, and realize, trust what I'm saying here. Hear me out, because God did tell us. He told us in certain Bible prophecies when the end would come. And we would be foolish to ignore God's laws or his, all the wisdom in the Psalms and the Proverbs. We'd be foolish to ignore the historical accounts. We'd be foolish to ignore any portion of the Bible, right? Well, part of the Bible are these prophecies that tell us when the end will be. So we would be foolish to ignore those. Okay. And what people need to do, okay, is pay attention. Listen to what I'm about to say. Okay. I've got over 150 free video teachings on my channel. Not all of them are about the end days topic here, but a lot of them are. I've also been teaching for free on YouTube for 7 years about this, devoting usually hours every single day. Okay. So I've done my part. I've gotten 2 books published. This one here on the 7 pillars of scriptural proof. These are the 7 biblical prophecies that prove from God's own mouth, okay, when the end days will be. And it's 2023 to 2024. This one is past. This is now what's left. Okay. The other book I got published is The Systematic Theology of the Original Christianity, as Jesus gave it, the real deal OG. But I'm here to talk about this one today, okay? This book here is only $11.11. $11.11. It's very cheap. It's on Amazon. You can get it around the world, okay? When you go to Amazon, just search for my author name, Enoch the Witness, okay? If you want to narrow down the search even quicker, you'll probably find it from that. But you could just throw in 2024 Rapture, right? Be very easy to find. Probably be able to find it by the author name. The reason why, it's not that I'm trying to peddle a book. This book here is the concise compilation of all of the information and proofs. Not only do I have 1 chapter for each of the 7 pillars of proofs, for each of those biblical prophecies, but I also have, I think, 6 or 7 extra chapters They give supplemental evidence from the Bible. But these are the most hardcore, hard-hitting pieces of proof. They're straight from prophecies. Okay, prophecies are from the mouth of God. Okay, so in this book here, like I said, 7 main prophecies covered in the first 7 chapters. So I'll just give everybody a quick rundown of what are in these first chapters here, the main body of the evidence. But before I do that, which will be a little bit drawn out, I just want to say how critically important all of this is, because again, Jesus told us it'll be like the days of Noah. It'll be like the days Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed. And he also said that it would be people will be saying peace and charity, and there will be sudden destruction. This is what the arrival of the end days will be like. Jesus told us in those 3 places. Don't listen to the people on earth, whether they be individuals or churches, who tell you, oh no, we're going to have a 7-year tribulation, which is not biblical. Okay, we're going to have this buffer zone of all these years with an antichrist ruling. It's to be very obvious. We're not going to get that. Jesus said we're going to have peace and surety. It'd be like the days of Noah, eating, drinking, making merry, and we'll be oblivious until it suddenly arrives. Sudden destruction. Okay, so that is why this is critically important. A lot of Christians out there today, probably hundreds of millions of Christians, are awaiting a 7-year tribulation period, and they think that, go look at any of the YouTube videos out there where people have this fake hollow evidence for 2024 rapture, and they'll be counting days or looking at stars and whatever else, hocus pocus, and they will always be talking about the 7-year tribulation, because they want 2024, the current year, to be the year, like I was just saying, and they will count their magic 7 on top of it. Because right now we don't have an Antichrist ruling the world for 7 years, and neither will we. Okay, the Antichrist already had his time in the world. I'm not getting into that for this. That was a long time ago with the final beast kingdom, which was Islam, which conquered and ruled over Israel for over 1,260 years, until the rebirth of Israel in 1948. So people are waiting for the wrong thing, and a lot of Christians are going to be caught by surprise. And we've been given a lot of instruction. I have a good portion in this book here, in one of the chapters, where I go through all the scripture. It's probably in the introduction, all the scriptural reasoning with verses on the page, where we are instructed to know and prepare for when the end is. So all these people out there deluding others, saying, oh, you can't know when it is. You can't even know the year when it is. And they're telling you that God never told us when it will be, or the year, or years. They're wrong. They are wrong. They might not be lying, but they are uneducatedly wrong. And they are deluding people to a very dangerous extent. What Christians need to be aware of is that God told us when the end would be, explicitly. Okay? He explicitly. And he also explicitly told us and instructed us to count and know it and be ready for it. And if you're not following God's instructions, you will be caught by surprise. Okay? And that is why this is critically important. Okay? If your teacher at your school says, hey, your final exam is going to be on this date at that time, or, at least on this date, and you don't pay attention to them, and the exam comes, what's going to happen to you? You're going to fail the exam because you're not ready for it. And that's what Christians need to realize. And when you want evidence for the real biblical 2024 end days and rapture, or if it's 2025 or whatever, right? But if you want real evidence for it, you will find that real evidence on my channel and all my free videos and in my book, okay? All of it compiled neatly in this book. You don't have to watch hundreds of hours of my videos, which are free. You could get it all right here, compiled, organized, nice index, everything for you right here, $11.11, okay? And that way there, if you want to help spread the awareness, by all means do so by quoting the book. But don't do it from memory, because you don't want to get numbers wrong and this and that, mislead people and make people think that it's not correct. You got the book, you could lend them a book. You could lend them the book. You let them read it themselves. Lend it to churches, to church ministers. Let them read it, because this isn't my invention. This is God's invention. This is what God told us that it would be. Okay? And it's not just one prophecy that said this. It's 7 altogether. 7 plus extra chapters with tons of extra supplemental evidence. But most importantly, these 7 prophecies. Okay? And it's undeniable. So we've got a chapter which gets into the prophecy from Isaiah, which is a discovery that I made. Nobody else that I could find in the world has ever stumbled upon this. But it's a prophecy from Isaiah that links to the one that Hosea made about being healed on the third day. So I have a chapter about that, and that prophecy confirms 2024. And then we have two chapters on prophecies from, actually 3 chapters on prophecies from Daniel. One is about a period of 2,520 years. This confirms 1948, the year of the rebirth of Israel. And then the other 2 chapters are about prophecies from Daniel chapter 12. One is about a period of 1,290 years, and one is a period of 1,335 years. Okay? Now, altogether, all of these dates are absolutely key to concreting in when the end days will be. But we also have another chapter with the prophecy from John in Revelation, which details the 1,260 years as well. We also, ironically, have a prophecy from First Enoch about 4,900 years, which meticulously ends in 1948. So, and that was a discovery that I made. I can't find anybody else in the world who's pinpointed that either. And it's meticulously explicit. It tells you the exact year to take it from in the chapter of First Enoch, so there's no argument. But chapter 1 is an amazing, it took me so long in my life to get this finally accomplished, but mapping out the true biblical chronology from start to finish. So every single verse is on the page. Every number is biblically supplied. There's not a single number that I make up or get from somewhere else. Every number is biblically supplied with the verses for you on the page. And for that first chapter, all the maths are broken down step by step for everybody on the page in bold, so that everybody can be spoon-fed it step by step like baby steps. And you will see that 6,000 years have transpired between the first son of man, who was Seth, because Adam was created as an immortal. Okay, he was cursed with mortality. But Seth was the first son of man, born of a woman, and from him, it is from him whom the lineage is taken. And from Seth until 2024 is 6,000 years. Okay, that is the first chapter, and it ties into the 7th millennia, the millennial Sabbath, and all of that there. So we got all those chapters there, and what they do is they map out something that God mapped out. Every single one of these chapters either proves 1948 or 2024. And the reason why 1948 is important and related to 2024, as you will learn from the chapters, is that Islam was the final beast kingdom. When they conquered Israel, the 11th ruler of Islam, as Daniel said would occur, built the abomination on the Temple Mount, which was the Dome of the Rock. They then ruled Israel for 1,260 years until 1948, with the rebirth of Israel at the end of the Arab War. So their empire lost its control, its empirical grip, if that's the right term, over Israel, and Israel was reborn, and the ingathering began. The long-awaited for ingathering, which people have been waiting like 2,000 years for almost, was the Jews and the Christians, the people of God, got to return to Israel. So, and from there, according to Daniel chapter 12, there's an additional 75 years that takes you to the end, 1335. But Daniel also told us about 1,290 years from when Nebuchadnezzar would take away the continual sacrifice in 602 BC until the abomination on the Temple Mount in 688 AD. So there's absolute confirmation here. Daniel actually mapped out 2,600 and something years of human history. And it's absolutely mind-blowing. There's so many things that Daniel foretold that came to pass in history. I did a video the other day on this. There are 14 things that nobody could have guessed, but he got them all. 14 things. Epic, historical, some of the most epic, monumental, largest historical events to ever transpire for Israel or for even for the planet in some regards. He foretold all of them. Some of them were pinned to exact years. They should have happened in exact years, and they did. So it is absolutely uncanny. It is real bona fide prophecy from God. And it is in Daniel chapter 12 where God instructs us to know and count. He said, "Blessed is he who knoweth and waiteth expectingly for this end, the 1335th." I can't quote it exactly offhand, sorry, but Go read it for yourself and read it in the original translation, which is what you should be doing, and not in these altered Bible versions. Okay, so there's too much evidence in the Bible from God's own mouth about when it would occur. It is going to be 2024. The 6,000 years for mankind ends in 2024. We have 6 other prophecies from the Bible that point to 2024. 1948 is a key pivotal date in all of this. In 1948, the rebirth of Israel links over to what Jesus said would foretell the imminent arrival. Jesus said, when you see the fig tree put out new shoots, new leaves, new growth, that it means that he is nigh and at the doors. That means that since 1948, Jesus has been at the doors waiting to arrive. We are truly in the final generation. Okay? And Psalm 90 says that days of our years are 70 to 80 years. So it's going to be more than 70. It's going to be less than 80. It says it's cut off hastily and we fly away. This fits in with the prophecy of Daniel as well. That's an allusion to the 75th year, the midpoint. Okay, it's going to be more than 70. It's going to be less than 80. It's cut off hastily and we fly away. That's a clue to the rapture at the end of days. And the other amazing thing is that God spoke to Abraham from the heavens in the year 2023 after creation, which is slightly different. Okay, after creation. So after Adam's creation, count forward 2023 years exactly. That's when God spoke to Abraham and he said, oh, look, see this promised land? Go enter that promised land. So we see that parallel. Abraham was born 1948 after creation. The same year, on an unrelated calendar, the AD calendar has nothing in relation to the after creation calendar. After creation calendar starts from Adam's creation and it infinitely builds into the future. The AD, the whatever you want to call it, Gregorian calendar, has a central point and goes infinitely into the future, AD or CE, or infinitely into the past, BC. Okay, completely structurally unrelated calendars, not related to one another whatsoever, even numerically or anything. But yet we see these numerical parallels. Abraham was born 1948. God told him to enter the promised land in 2023. That's when he was taken out of the land of idolatry and marched on to go enter the promised land, was in 2023. So we can clearly see there's too much evidence here for 2024. And trust me, there's more. In the extra chapters I threw in there, there's even more stuff. There's discovery I made in the prayer of Gethsemane with Jesus, which is telling us again, 2024, 2,000 years after his baptism. There is too much evidence, too much credible biblical evidence that it's going to happen. Okay? Don't listen to these wannabes and charlatans that are out there polluting YouTube with all this stuff that's just leading people astray and just making you just focus on the wrong thing. Look at the prophecies. It's undeniable evidence. If you don't want to spend $11.11 on the book, you can go watch the videos for free first, right? This is the ultimate compilation. It's all together right here. Out of the 7 prophecies that I cover in this book here, 5 of these discoveries are uniquely my own. So you will not hear this material anywhere else unless someone's copying. And this is international copyright backed by Amazon. So I would imagine I'm not a lawyer, right? But, backed, protected by, enforced by Amazon. Let's put it that way. So God bless everybody. Please get ready. Please prepare. Time is running out. It's going to be in 2024 or just after 2024. So get ready. Study this now. Okay? Because trust me, folks, when people ask you, what's your reasoning for believing that the Lord is coming? You want to be able to wow them. Tell them, oh, you want some evidence? I'll give you some evidence. You got a little bit of time? You can pull out the book, show it to them. I guarantee you, anybody who reads this book, their life will be changed. Absolutely changed. Once I wrote this book, okay, and I did my proofreading of it, and I put myself in the shoes of the average person, so who didn't know anything about it and read it, it put tingles up my spine and my hair stood on end, because that's how incredibly powerful the information is. Okay? It deserves to be heard by the world. It deserves to be recognized, go down in the books. It deserves to go down in the record books for discoveries, important biblical, credible discoveries. It really, really does deserve it. I need your help to help spread the awareness. And the only way you can do that is subscribe and leave a like, but that's not the important thing. The important thing is help spread awareness, but do so accurately. And if you're going to help spread this awareness accurately, I urge you to get the book so that you can quote from it. Please do not misquote it, because numbers and digits are very important when you're dealing with stuff like this. So anyways, take care, folks. God bless. And don't say I didn't warn you. So anyways, God bless you all.